All right, welcome all. We're going to do the pledge. I call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome all. I'm a little froggy this evening, so I do apologize in advance. We recently had a change in town council and a few little changes on how we are going to do things housekeeping wise. So I just wanted to let the board know before we started the meeting that rather than at the end, we're going to introduce, go through a few of the details of the application, and then the applicant. So I'll read in the address, the grid number, and then this is the part that's the change, that instead of me reading in all the variances that are being requested, the applicant will do a presentation and include that information in the presentation. And then at the end, after we go through the 5 factors and we discuss the 5 factors, if we make a motion to grant it as presented, then one of us will read the resolution into the minutes if we get to that part.
And if we decide not to grant it, what does this do then? Do we say we didn't grant this, but still read it?
We can, it can be tabled, so, you know, if we kind of have a hiccup along the way and we want to pause the meeting and the applicant at that point decides that they want to go back and do some homework and come back to us, then
right.
It only goes forward if we make a motion and vote on it, and we, majority rules. But if we don't either make it to that point or we vote it down, then it gets voted down.
But you still have to read what's been voted down.
Yes, we'll get to.
Or present it.
Attorney's answer.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry.
I was waiting for.
Helen, this is
Yeah,
Ross.
we met. Hi.
Okay.
So the question, just to make sure I have your question correct, is if you vote down one of the variances.
Yeah.
You're saying just one piece. Well, you can ask for them to see if they want to make a change. For
Sure.
the variance, correct, right?
Sure.
And then if you do decide to vote down one of the, you can put forward a resolution that say it's a variance, say it's an application that has 4 variances. You can approve 4, 3, and deny 1.
Yeah, but
in
now
your
we've got a hard
So
black and white text here.
You can change your resolution
So
on the document.
is it just a question of scratching through a part of it that we don't like or don't agree with or vote down?
Yes, you can do that, and you can.
And that's
change on the document.
that's acceptable here?
This is a rough draft.
Oh,
If need be, we can. This is not in stone, that we can make changes. Is that correct, Ross?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
and then for the record, it's gonna be retyped and,
Yes.
or,
It would be after the fact, but in the record, you would read in the fact that the changes you made. You would read them into the record at the current meeting, and then after the meeting, a new typed up resolution would be put in place. Just to clean it, just so you have a clean resolution.
Yeah, because it has to be filed with the town clerk's office, and we would want exactly what the board says on the resolution to be filed, because it's a forever document, yeah.
And many zoning boards throughout the county, zoning boards of appeal throughout the county do that. In fact, they make changes to the resolution as they're doing their procedures, and then they read in the correction, they read in their.
sure, but it's the hard copy do they all have something like this already
There are drafts that
printed?
are brought in,
So it's called a draft?
Yeah, well, you can consider it a draft, yes. It is a
And the
resolution.
spaces that are here, is that something we're supposed to be filling in at this meeting? The questions answered?
You
See,
will be
it's been-
discussing those for each
Well, of
of
course.
each of the variants during the meeting.
Well, of
yes.
course, but it's been printed here with a space, as if we're to fill that in for the record?
Yes,
or-
you would fill in your reasoning. Yes, correct.
Okay, and who's doing that? some volunteer here?
We'll work that out, yes.
Because
It's not
usually
yes.
that comes from the recording
Yes.
verbatim, or quotes from the recording. Okay, well, it seems like a lot of trouble, but
Which one is?
whatever, you know,
Where?
if this is gonna be the new procedure.
Well, it's,
Yes, you're missing a page.
okay.
On this one, right? What page is missing?
One page is.
We'll,
yeah.
we'll see how this goes,
Well,
and
make
if we
three
need
copies
to
of this.
reevaluate, we can reevaluate.
Okay, and so
So
this
what
is
she's
a
talking about
directive
is the
from
5
our town
questions.
board?
Excuse me?
This is a directive from our town board.
This is a directive from our town attorney that felt that this was a better way of documenting the variance process. So,
If I may. It's a way to make sure that you have a record of what happens within the resolution, and it's a defensible record, so that your position withstands any challenges it may happen if.
Of course,
and when
but we
there-
also
if there's a
have
challenge.
a recording as well as minutes that cover the primary points. So
Correct.
I just seems like a lot of trouble, but that's okay, that's me.
well, essentially, we're taking the reading of it from the beginning and adding the reading of it at the end.
Okay.
And adding a little legalese in there.
All right, now I
Sprinkling
don't
that in.
mean to hold up this meeting either, so.
Well, I mean, this is the context in which it is
Well,
presented to us.
we
so-
wanna discuss it in public, since we're a board,
Yeah.
we should
Sure.
discuss it in
Yeah.
public, so I apologize that you guys are
Quite all right.
having to go through this with us.
Before we go, I want to just put on the record as well that I take, not umbrage, but I'm concerned about the format. And that, number one, the resolution is already penned in the affirmative, which of course a applicant may be affirmed or denied. Second, not necessarily on these applicants in front of us, but because we have multiple applicants with multiple variances sometime, some may be prudent and some may, have 4 or 5 variances applied for. Some may be more problematic than others, where you would need to not necessarily, I don't know what the process would be, is to vote on some and not others. I think this is a package that may cause us problems if all sale or some are withheld, that kind of thing. So I just have some concerns, like I said, number one, being couched in the affirmative from the beginning,
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be a matter of consideration from the beginning. And then the second is, if in fact we have some components of a individual application that's more problematic than other, you don't have the ability necessarily to bifurcate this or trifurcate this, it's a package.
Well, I'm sorry, you're Ross?
I am, yes.
Great name.
Thank you.
So in essence, if this is a draft, it saves us the trouble of reading it out,
Well,
and we can scratch through a variance that we may vote for all of them, or we, of course, may vote down one. For the record, right here at this public meeting, we're gonna black it out, the one we're not voting for, because we're putting at the end of this the results of the vote as well. It may be easy as pie, and we may be very happy to have this, but besides his feeling that it's already a positive sort of written in that way.
I see both
But,
points.
so then we just black it out, and that's okay. I mean, that
think
could
I
be
think,
your official copy is the blacked out copy.
Yeah, I think change is sometimes a little clumsy at times, and we try this, I know we've done a certain way, and let's see if this is what it was encouraged to us by our town attorney, so let's see if it works, and if it doesn't, we'll go back to how we did it previously. So, are we okay with trying it? Are you okay with
Can
moving?
I just
Last
chime in?
meeting we
Because I
did
agree
this.
with Terrence.
last meeting
I'm
we
less
did
troubled by the the affirmative part, but, you know, we very often change the resolutions that we have. We may change the application, we may put conditions on the application, there may be agreements, commitments by the applicant to do it, and I worry that having a motion beforehand, and probably for for the majority, it's fine, but for a fair number of ones, it's, I don't want to say it's a negotiated decision, but there is give and take with and, I worry having something in writing, and then we have something different that we approve, it runs the risk of creating confusion.
Would you like to,
But I'm
Think-
happy to,
well, we kind of have two options.
I'm a lawyer, so I'm
I
I
know.
never,
Well, we have two options here.
never want to be on record against over-lawyering, but,
Well, we kind of have two options. One, we can try this new way, or
Sure.
two, we can go our usual route and revisit this at a later time, not with some more
I
thought.
guess my only concern is we all have a copy of this now, and the official copy is going to be the one that's been edited or added to or scratched out if we don't agree with everything as written here. And we'll have to mark it with what, a thumbprint that says this is the one, 'cause-
Well, I think Joanne would provide it to us once it's,
all right, and if so, I take my own notes on this and make sure that we're all in agreement with what
yes, ma'am.
happened.
Yes. Terrence, are you okay with doing it that way?
I think we'll follow the lead of our chairwoman, and we will see how it goes this evening. I just think that the most important component is consistency.
I agree. I think we need.
As a board, consistency in process and fairness to the applicant. So if we can achieve that through this,
Well, that's why I wanted to discuss it instead of waiting to the last minute.
One last point, Ross, I think if we're going to go this way, then we should have I would prefer to have the resolution at the time we receive the package, so that I have a chance to review it, and maybe it's just boilerplate and whatever, but just in terms of if I'm not necessarily signing something, I don't know, do I sign it? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. I'd like, if we're gonna do this, I would like it with the board package, which, a week.
I think that's something
A
we can-
week in advance, so I have an opportunity to review it if I have any questions.
It can either be part of the package or it
That's
can
what
be
I,
emailed or
or
something.
done separately. You can email it to us
Can
before.
I just address quickly, I'll just address two things. One, in terms of the concern about having a separate document that's already out there. Again, your meeting, the meeting minutes and what happens during the meeting is controlling at the end of the day, whether, regardless of what this document says
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
Second, we could draft, seeing whether or not how this goes and how you like it, it could be drafted in a way where it's left where the basic template of the language, which I think you were getting at, is there, and then leaving it open so that it doesn't say grant or deny, and then leaving spaces for you to put in conditions, et cetera, so that you have the template ahead of you and setting out the meat of it, and, I mean, not the meat of it, the bare bones template, and then you add the meat during the meeting. So, that's just to put that
next
out there.
month, we'll see what that looks like, I guess, right?
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
all
I
right.
mean, I'm less troubled by the predetermination in this or whatever. I mean, that said, I think the argument that the minutes control is kind of an argument against the need for this, but that's another story. I'm happy to go ahead with it.
We're ready to
As far as
proceed?
Filing, like after the meeting, having this one document's a lot easier to, file with the town clerk's office
That's-
and then send
yeah.
the applicant.
Absolutely.
So it's less documents for me
Okay.
following the meeting.
that's
So
a-
that's
see,
one thing
You
I
should
would
have,
like. We can
Joanne,
change
you should have
this.
said that and we all would have shown up.
Well, if you guys want to change this, I'm fine with that. But having one document to be
Yeah.
filed does help.
No, but I think what Ross suggested is having a template with room to make amendments is a perfectly logical and practical way to proceed. But again, with geez, I'm having a senior moment, with the proviso that we do get in advance, so just I like to see anything I'm dealing with, have a chance to consider it.
All right, well, let's get this show on the road.
Sorry.
Well, you could see we put a lot of thought into things. So, thank you for your patience.
Sure.
I'm gonna read in a little bit, and then you can have the floor. The first application is by Christopher and Susan Modilowski. Did I say it right?
That's pretty darn close, thank you.
Okay, I put a lot of work into that today, just wanna let you know
Well, you
that.
must
No,
know
wait,
something.
Wait, say it again. How did you say it?
Modilowski?
Lowski or?
Modilewski, yeah, you must know something about Slavic languages. I think
Okay,
you
no,
did a very
I
good
may have
job.
Googled how to pronounce
It's
it.
not Lusky.
No, that the W is very much silent, yeah.
Okay, okay.
A little deceiving, yeah.
So our first applicant, it's ZBA application 2026004. The property location is 28. On the old maps, it says north, but I think on the new maps, it's just Crescent Drive, Holmes, New York, 12531. The parcel number is 13408966850605235876-0000. In all our chats, I forgot to ask these questions to Joanne, so she'll answer them for me. 239 municipal law from Dutchess County, is it local?
Exempt.
It's exempt, and seeker is also.
Type 2.
Type 2, so no actions needed. A site inspection was held on Sunday, June 14th. Members in attendance were myself, Helen, and Terrence. And so you have the floor.
Well, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Ms. Daly, and council. My name is Christopher Modilewski. I'm here together with my wife Susan this evening in support of our application for area reliefs in order to permit us to expand an existing single-family dwelling. We've owned the house now for about 2.5 years, and it has served us well as a second home. Our plan eventually, if we are permitted to commence and complete these expansion and renovation plans that we have, is upon retirement to relocate here permanently. But for right now, it serves as a platform for ourselves and our children. We have 2 sets of married kids, one up in the Capital District outside of Albany and the other down on Long Island. So it's about an hour and 45 minutes each way, and it's very much a focal point for all of us. There are 3 advertised requests for relief this evening. The first is a front yard variance, whereas 50 feet is required under the code, and we're proposing 32 feet 7 inches. Next, there is a lot coverage variance that's requested in the amount of 21.25%, whereas the code requires strictly 10%. The other advertised variance is with respect to your code provision 21533D. It's a fairly typical provision found in many zoning codes, and in this instance it requires an application to this board to build anything unless what is proposed strictly complies with all of the dimensional requirements, and this does not. I just would ask for a point of clarification. Ms. Daly was kind enough to forward to me, just like to you members, a proposed draft resolution in the event that the board is inclined to grant the relief. There is language which is accurate, but it appears as language of limitation, which I think might be troublesome if we reach the building department with a set of plans, and that is with respect to the 528 square feet. The house as it stands right now is a 1.5-story dwelling. There's 1 bathroom, there's a living room, there's an open porch, actually a closed porch. The porch is open in between the living area inside the house, and it's enclosed because it's got windows. Upstairs, there's a single bathroom. Upstairs is a walk-around finished attic that serves as a bedroom, and I had indicated to you, Mr. Wansley, when we met at the site, that's where my kids sleep. So extant as it is, it's a 1.5-story dwelling. What's depicted on the materials that were submitted along with the completed application is exactly what's intended, which is that We're building back into the hill, utilizing as foundational elements a series of piers, and then going over the entire existing home with now a full story on the second floor. So my concern when I read the draft of the resolution was that the building official, and I was hoping he might be here tonight. I didn't know that sometimes building officials attend zoning board meetings, sometimes they don't. But I just was concerned that there would be a view that he might take that would seem to limit the construction and not to have it parallel, for instance, the elevation of the east and north side that's made part of the packet. I think you all know what we intend to accomplish, but I just thought that I would raise this issue now rather than later. And what I had hoped to avoid was the prospect maybe of the building official months from now, after receipt of a complete set of drawings, sending me back to you all.
So what you're looking to construct is larger than 528 square feet? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is if you look at the site plan, what he's shown that is
By that
crosshatched.
you mean this thing with the elevations?
The elevation drawing.
Okay,
I'm
this-
talking about
this site plan.
the site plan.
Okay.
Right, if you
This
look at
thing.
what's crosshatched on the site plan, that's 528 square feet. So that is nothing but second story built into the hill. But if you look at now the elevation drawings, as
Yeah.
Ms. Grosso pointed out, it shows clearly that
You're putting the addition on the whole property, is what you're saying?
No,
on-
he's saying they're gonna expand really the second floor, because it's a floor
the
and a
half,
half.
the half story is going to turn into a full second story.
So there's some square footage in here that's gonna change, that isn't taken into account?
No, it's not. The crosshatched area is 528.
Right.
Just like it says.
Right.
But I just wanted, when I read the resolution, I just thought a little bit ahead to what the building official might think
Okay.
if he read that resolution.
Ross, can we pick your brain? My,
Sarah and Everett gave all the dimensions, just so you
well,
know.
my thought is that it's, this part is pre-existing, so it's, the variance isn't,
Well, it
we're
does
giving
put-
we're giving the variance on the whole property, but he's not this part is going up, it's not going out.
The footprint's going to remain the same.
Yeah. Do you want to see one of
Or do
these?
you wanna look at this also?
Except for the fact that it's non-conforming in the first place, and so you're gonna be granting a variance to make it conforming, in addition to the added foot.
But it won't be conforming. It
But will be with a grant of relief from this board.
So do you foresee him having an issue getting a building permit if we,
But see, right now, it appears this is the 528, and he's saying that this building is going up higher and will present slightly differently, so
My humble
if you
suggestion
don't
is
mind,
that
Can I
it's
just
sort of like
interrupt, though?
this.
Because I thought you said the addition's 528, but there's going to be more
Right now,
space included
that's
on
the
the second
elevation,
floor.
'cause it's
Or
only
did I
a
mishear?
story.
Oh, no. Well, what's absolutely unconditionally brand new is that crosshatched 528 square feet. But the former half-story, which is now a bedroom,
Right.
that's going to be a full second story.
Exactly.
And what-
So
and what
your
was-
concern is that that will be treated as,
My
Additional
concern is
square
that he takes a look at it and says, well, you can build the 528, but you got to leave the rest of the house alone.
what was your
I mean,
idea?
yeah, I mean, if you were inclined, then it's just a humble suggestion on my part. Yeah, I mean, you could reference the elevation drawing in the context of the decision.
That the expectation is that the second floor that's existing will be expanded.
Right. It's a half story. I mean, like I said, it's finished. You can walk around up there. There are, you may have noticed the roof windows. There's one on the east side. There's one on the west side. But it's going to be less humble. I mean, it's still going to be a pretty small house, quite frankly, and I'll get to that, and you'll see why I maintain that.
Right.
But I was concerned about, what would happen if the building official looked at that and thought it was language of limitation.
Ross, do you have any? And he mentioned that we could put the maximum height of the
Or could
29
we add
foot.
a phrase that the expectation is the second floor will be
A full floor, not,
a full floor
Yeah.
instead of.
But I mean,
just
I'm
a
assuming,
loft.
I'm assuming that the second floor conformed, apart from the fact that the house is doesn't conform because of pre-existing conditions, that the raising the ceiling is not a separate independent violation, so that he could do that if this were a conforming house.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if he didn't want to add 528 feet, he wouldn't have to come to us if he wanted to make his second floor.
No, I'd have to come to you for any
I think
reason.
what Ross is saying is any change he has to make, because it's already non-conforming,
Yeah.
he has to make, but he has to come before us. But apart from the pre-existing non-conformity, for lack of a better term, he would not have to come to us. So, so I guess, whatever.
Maybe not for that, maybe not for this variance, but maybe potentially another variance.
Right,
in that
exactly.
condition.
So I understand his concern.
so do you think we should include that language in the granting? That we make it that the height maximum of 29 feet?
Well, I'm assuming that if we approve the plan as presented to us, that would be included in the variance. Is that a fair statement, Ross?
Yes.
Even though they're not final drawings. You say approve the plan as presented in this
Exactly.
plan.
With the proposed schedule of,
Final drawings are gonna have to remain in compliance with your variances. So if those final drawings are viewed by the building inspector not to be in compliance with the variance, that's a totally different question.
So just so that we cross all our Ts and
All right,
dot
so
all our
what's
Is.
the-
I hadn't looked through this with that in mind. Are the height dimensions included somewhere?
yeah, they're right
Yeah,
there.
it conforms. There's no height relief requested.
30 feet, there's
Maximum height.
Here,
Proposed, okay.
Right, it's on the zoning compliance table. It complies
Yeah,
on the
sorry,
height.
as I say, this wasn't an issue that I was looking at, so.
So should we-
So I think it's, we have the numbers here,
But say that they need to stay within
within
the numbers that are proposed to us, because say he goes back to the drawing board on his final draft, not that you would, but just, some ideas, that he puts it up to 40 feet. I just want to make sure
It's missing
that,
page 2.
I want verbiage in there to say, okay, we're good with it, and it should be no more than what the numbers that are on
that are
this-
proposed on
Proposed.
the site plan.
on the site plan. Can we include that language in?
And let me hear, can you say that, and say the language again, just to make sure I have it down?
To include the language, what you just said, the language of, to include the numbers that
On the
have
site
been
plan.
presented to us on the site plan.
So, like,
That was
it
submitted
gives,
by the applicant.
because these drawings may change, but as long as these numbers don't change.
Correct.
He can move windows or whatnot, but as long as the numbers don't change.
Precisely.
Right, and so long as those differences still remain within, I don't wanna get it confused, but there still could be changes that are made that have nothing to do with this variance, that would then make the building inspector say no, right?
Oh, I
but-
guess we'd
but-
cross
but-
that bridge.
But related to this variance, yes, you're absolutely correct, I just wanna make sure it's
Okay.
clear that there could be, I don't know for a fact whether or not if a window design was changed, whether or not you need
Yeah.
a variance for that, depending on, I'm making that up, just because there could be another type of
Well,
situation
is
that has
this-
nothing to do with this, that would might require.
Is this filed, it's not usually filed, all these papers that we have reference to, it is, or filed with it?
Yes.
So the building inspector could even see these numbers and see these drawings.
Yes,
Yeah.
but he will
Okay.
have to submit, after he gets his variances, he will have to submit a building permit with the drawings of the house, the mechanicals, all of those things for the inspector, and that, so this is the area variance file that goes to the building department after, after tonight, and the minutes go in the file. And then you'll also have a building permit file. And then prior to them getting the CO, they have to have an as-built submitted for the building inspector to ensure that the original drawings submitted are built out to the plans before they get a certificate of occupancy.
Okay, and that's
There is checks and
understood, so to
balances
speak.
along the way.
If this is what we have in front of us, it's on record what has been submitted.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let the applicant finish his presentation.
Thank you very much. Just by way of history, the existing home is believed to have been built in the 1940s as a summer home. Being a father and a grandfather, I'm often cast in the role of draft animal, so the person who has to get things into and out of the crawl space is usually me. There's a, I guess it's for want of a better term, there's a concrete pier that supports one of the posts underneath the house, and inscribed in that is, I believe, 1948. So it is a somewhat aged structure, but it is sound, and I think it'll be an excellent platform for this addition. Now, Ms. Miller, Mr. Wansley, and Ms. Grasso, you were out at the property, and you were able to inform yourselves about the streetscape and the general conditions in the area. I thought it would be useful to provide to all of you an image taken from the water. So I went out about a week and a half ago on my kayak, and I just took a photo. And I think what it shows is how unusual the existing home is when compared to the two that flank it to the north and the south. It kind of looks, in all candor, it looks a little bit like a tool shed. So I'm going to hand those up individually to each of you. Is that okay?
Please do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
No, sure, thank you.
That's all Fred. This is Fred's, we used to be on the board with
You
us.
see
Fred's house.
Joanne here?
Really?
It looks a little diminutive in between the other two houses.
That was a kindness, Ms. Grasso. Thank you. I would have
Trim.
used the word dwarf, but
Okay.
Fred house.
Oh, okay.
anyway. So the idea was not to be not to go overboard in terms of what we really intend. Wanted to observe the pre-existing side yards, not get any closer to either of the neighbors, because I just didn't think that was justified. But this will give us, a decent common area upstairs and a kitchen that's bigger than most people's closet. I mean, what we have right now is, I think, would be accurately and kindly called a kitchenette. My older brother calls it a place in which you might be able to try to prepare food. It's very, very small. So as depicted on the plans that are before you, the plan is to then scrap that existing room, turn that into a bedroom. So that will be a bedroom on the first floor. Only one bedroom up on the second floor, and there'll be another bathroom up there as well. So Ms. Daly was kind enough to give me the addresses of a number of properties that have received similar reliefs from this board, and I did obtain those under a request via the Public Officers Law. I don't have multiple copies of those, but there are 7 decisions in all that I'd like to hand up, and I think they're illustrative of the board's inclination to grant reasonable requests for relief in this area. Like any other residential subdivider for waterfront parcels, they always kind of make them narrow. And that's certainly the case here. Certainly you all know the conditions in your own town. best. That's just the way it is. So what we tried to do is not shoehorn something unusually and unreasonably big onto a small lot, but to make better use of what we have there. So I'd like to hand these up as well, please.
Thank you.
Just something else that I just kind of caught my eye. I mean, I've been aware of the fact that a house is under construction a little bit to the north, probably I'd say maybe 8 to 9 lots to the north of the subject. And after my son and I splashed the boat the other day, I took a waterscape photo of that home as well. I don't know if it corresponds to any of the decisions of the board that I handed up. I was unable to discern that, but it's obvious to me that this home is being built with the benefit of some relief from the board, probably at least a front yard and a rear yard. Your code has advertence with respect to establishing a front yard to the street, so it appears to me that there was probably relief granted for this home, both for the rear and the front yard. Anyway, the overall tone and tenor of the architecture is kind of similar to what's depicted on the elevations that are in the record, and I thought that might be helpful for all of you to see as well. So if I may, I'd like to hand one of those up to each of you, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Which one is this? Which house is this?
They all predate me.
I have no idea.
I mean, it's conjecture on my part, but just looking at the lot and looking at where that house falls on it, I just took it for granted that it was probably the subject of an application to this board, but that may not be true. I don't know. With respect to the statutory balancing test, I would respectfully submit to you all that there will be no undesirable change that will obtain as a result of a grant by this board in order to accommodate this addition. Clearly, the only way for us to achieve additional living space under your code is to come to you and ask for and receive relief. The request, I don't believe, is substantial, either numerically all by itself or with regard to the prevailing pattern of development in the area. There are no adverse impacts that are discernible with respect to physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. There's going to be a very, very minimal excavation, really just in order to reach bedrock. And as I had indicated to the board members last week, just enough to set some sonotubes, create some piers that will support the beam that will, or beams that will carry the weight of this addition. With respect to the fifth of the statutory tests, there's no way to argue that this is not a self-created hardship, because every landowner is charged with notice of the strictures of zoning prior to buying. So just like everybody else, we knew there would be limitations, and we knew that we would have to come here if we intended to build anything. So unless you have any questions for me or for my wife, she might be a more reliable source of information.
I do have a couple. The chimney, the proposed chimney, you do have a pre-existing chimney?
Yeah, there is a fireplace that's on the north side of the house. I've never felt, in spite of the fact that I'm a son of a bricklayer, I've never been confident enough in it to actually start a fire in it. So the idea with that is that, you know, you can tell that the structural integrity of the existing building has something to do with that chimney, that it was all built at the same time. So the idea there is just to cap it at and basically the bottom plate for the second story. Just cap it and leave it alone.
Okay,
And there'll be
I was
nothing
just-
but candles in it forever.
You wait till the electric goes out on a cold winter, you might change your mind. I think I got my answer on this part, but this part here, you're having
Yeah, what you see underneath there is the existing porch.
so that is this part here. Is
That's
that-
correct.
Okay,
So that there's a proposed deck over that, but no closer to the water line.
okay, so that is, so as is, you're just changing the roof line.
Right. Essentially that roof system, it's just a shed roof. That roof system goes away, and there'll be decking over that, which you'll walk out of the great room, which faces the lake, and onto the deck.
Okay. Helen?
Yeah, I initially was confused by the maximum height, 29 feet, but that's with this whole front here.
That's
finished
to the ridge.
From your first floor there to the top.
I believe it's measured, under your code, I believe it's measured from the street side, not from the water side.
Oh, wasn't aware of that. You think the code says?
I believe I found that. I didn't, you know what, and forgive me, I
Oh, the first floor.
didn't
But,
write the section down, but I believe that's what your code says.
all right, so 29 feet, you're saying, is from the street side. It appears it's going to be 29 feet from the, quote, second floor up, because that's the street
No,
side?
I believe what the architect did was measure from existing grade, not from the
first
proposed
floor
second floor.
sits.
Pardon me?
The first floor sits on the existing grade?
It does.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
Then that was semantics. All right, and now your explanation about because I'm looking at this paperwork here on our site plan, and it says existing house is 768 square feet, and I'm guessing that that's the first floor.
Yeah, that would be accurate.
So now you are going to have a second floor that's roughly 768 feet, or?
As I said in my introductory remarks,
gonna
yeah,
be
the second, you're going to walk into, as I had mentioned when we visited on Sunday, you're going to walk into the front door from maybe, on the staircase down from the street, maybe it'll be step number 28
Yep.
instead of step number 42, which is all the way down to the bottom and into the kitchen. So you're walking into the second floor of the home.
Right, and so that's clearly the addition, and that's 528 square feet, but it's also
Yes.
a second floor that has been built up now to double the size of the first floor.
That's what he was mentioning
Yeah,
earlier.
that's
Yeah, well,
exactly.
then I do think we ought to say it's 2 times 768 instead of existing house, the proposed addition, but it's an internal thing. So you
For
think,
zoning purposes, I didn't think that was important, because when I read your code, the only reference to floor area ratio, or FAR, that I could find applies to the highway business district. You don't have an FAR requirement in any of your residence districts.
and FAR stands for what?
Floor area ratio.
Okay, well, it's just reinforcing what you had asked about. So, but I'm happy with this. It's all my questions.
Terrence?
Oh, I do have one more
In the
thing.
city, Terrence, that's FAR is big
One
in the
more
city.
thing. If you could just explain, and since you've been on a ZBA yourself, on this part of your application, it says, owner will abide by a SWPPP.
Yeah, I
What is
understand
that?
you're, I'm obliged to appear before your planning board and to present to them a SWIP, a stormwater pollution prevention plan.
Oh, okay. We
Be-
just
because it's a
don't
w-
refer to it like that. That's all, and I just didn't know, that's all. Stormwater pollution
Prevention plan.
prevention plan.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Basically, stakes and hay bales and
Sure. No, I
burlap.
understand. Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Anything else from any other members?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. First thing, I think that your presentation was comprehensive and excellent, and it'll be the standard training video for all other applicants.
Well, that's very kind, Mr. Wansley. Thank you.
I do have some just basic questions. Existing now, we have how many bedrooms and how many bathrooms?
1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms.
Existing now.
Yes, sir. And I did read, quite frankly, after we had met on Sunday, I read Section 19 of the Dutchess County Sanitary Code. I didn't see a triggering, any triggering language with respect to the need to replace the existing septic system, but if I'm proved wrong about that, and I'm sure that would be a topic that Mr. White would be interested in, on submission of a full set of building plans. But if the law requires that by way of expanding and having an additional bedroom, a 4th bedroom, that we have to change it out, then we'll just do whatever the law requires.
Because that was the, okay, so we have 1 bedroom, 3 bathrooms, or one?
No, there's
One bath.
three bedrooms, single bath. There's only a single bath right now.
Okay, 1 bath, 3 beds.
There's no
and then
room for another one.
On completion, you will have a total of
2 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms.
So, I believe that it may trigger,
It could.
and so that, I would, propose that any resolution would include a condition that Department of Health clearance be submitted, prior to the application going forward.
I'm sure in the ordinary course, right, that your building official would look to the Dutchess County Department of Health, and sure, if there's something ameliorative that we have to do as a matter of law, we certainly will do it.
Okay, and because that's something that we had discussed, I had anticipated it being presented, offered up by you, because we had talked about it at the site visit. But, neither here nor there, it's not here or there.
I've discussed it with my chief executive officer
Okay,
back there,
I-
but I'm the one that's got to build this thing. So if I can save $10,000 or $12,000 here or there, or at least put that off for 8 or 9 years, then I'm going to try to do that. But if it's required as a matter of law, then we're just going to have to do it.
And I don't know what the triggering point is. There a range between 1 and 4 is the septic has to be there?
It goes by the bedroom, not
No,
by the bathroom.
Yeah.
No,
That part.
I'm not concerned about the bathrooms at all. You can put 6
Yeah.
in there, that's fine. But I know that I don't know if there's a range for the septic relative to the bedrooms, or each bedroom has to have a certain amount of capacity for septic. Because that certainly would speak to whether or not you could have an adverse impact if we have some septic issues.
Oh, yeah.
So, and like I said, I had fully anticipated it being offered up. It's not, no problem. And the last thing that I wrote down is that tonight, let's work on the appropriate language that between yourself, ourselves, and the council would remove any possibilities of challenges from the building department, the building inspector, so that we can have it codified as a matter of record. So if the application is approved, it can run smoothly without hitches and without you having to come back. So
Okay.
I don't know what the process would that be. But any approval for me would have to be conditioned upon satisfactorily showing that additional bedroom would not trigger additional septic issues.
Can I ask your thought process on I understand that septics could wreak havoc environmentally, especially right on the lake, like right there. But, that's not something we generally normally deal with. That's usually goes on to the building department and stuff like that. I'm just trying to think the thought process, and maybe Ross can include on this.
Well, let me tell you my
Sure,
thought
sure.
process.
Please do.
Basically, the balancing test talks about the benefit to the applicant as opposed to any adverse impact for the neighbors. Like I said, septic is about as adverse as you can possibly get. If everything is, so it's not necessarily all cosmetic. It's because that adverse impact is not defined, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fortunately or unfortunately, I do know a little bit about septics and such, and even if it's fine for him to have a 4-bedroom house or have 4 bedrooms, there's no saying that his septic will or will not fail at any point. So that's, I just, you know.
I'm not saying it will or will not, they do.
Yeah.
But if the requirement for a 4 is different than the capacity for a 3, then I would like to see that, you know, he's in compliance.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be able to build it.
I'm not going to get past the wastewater management people at the county. If there is a rule that I couldn't find, and I did look, but if they have a standard and the standard isn't met, but for the introduction of a new system, then I'm never going to get I wouldn't even get a building permit, let alone a CO.
Yeah. Joanne, do you know whether?
Yeah, so for 3 bedrooms, you need a 1,000-gallon tank. For 4 to 6 bedrooms, you need 1,250 gallons, and then it goes up
That's right.
the more bedrooms by the Board of Health rules.
Mhm.
So maybe you have a tank existing that is superfluous to the amount of bedrooms you have.
It could be. I don't know. All I know is nothing's gone wrong with it yet, so I can't speak to what's in the ground.
It's about volume, it's about capacity.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe your tank was, because I have an oversized tank in my house for the amount of bedrooms I have. They just, maybe they had an extra tank, they put it in.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's the case with you, and I think that we should know.
Mhm.
And it could be a condition, if you're good, you're good. If you're not, then you may have to make some modifications.
You could just simply make the approval subject to the determination of
That's what I
a
said.
health
That's the
sanitarian.
first thing I said.
Yeah, a health sanitarian at the county health department.
That was my first line.
Yeah.
Okay, great, and it's great to hear that 4 to 6 is 1,350. 250. Boy, learned such good things here. Okay. John?
I just had one question, just more to clarify the record. As I've read the numbers, you have variance 2, you're asking for an 11.25 variance. 2.6, as I read the numbers of that, is already pre-existing of that 11%.
Oh, in terms of the current overage on the
The overage,
on
I'm
the
sorry, I was
on
going
yeah, right.
right into.
Yeah. So as it sits, yeah,
So you're seeking an additional 8.6.
I believe that's numerically correct. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, we're gonna open the meeting to the public.
Okay.
We're good with questions?
Then let me get out of the way. Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. All right, we are opening the meeting to the public. We
We
are,
got an email from Fred Palm,
yes.
next door neighbor, in support of this application. So that can
You
go
hear
on
that?
record.
Yes.
okay, we're good. All right, we are going to close the meeting to the public.
And I think at the site visit, you said the letters had gone out to your neighbors, including the one most affected, seems like the person in back, because you'll be higher up.
Yeah, I mean, all the postal receipts were handed up before the call of the meeting.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
There was a letter from the other adjacent neighbor in support. She sent me a draft of it, Mary Jane Sarago.
I didn't get it.
Okay. I mean,
Unless she sent it to the building department.
she sent me a draft. She said, "Do you think it's okay?" I said, "I think it's fine." But she sent me the draft by way of a text message, so
Okay.
it was a nice letter.
We're gonna trust you on that one.
I mean, I can read it to you. I mean,
I don't think.
and you can put me under oath if you like.
No, I think we're good at this moment. I think we're gonna get our ducks in order here and move on with our reading of this and seeing what we need and go through the questions.
Okay, very good. Thank
Appreciate
you. Thank you very much.
Just to, Ross, just to go back to, so we are going to read this and go through our 5 questions after we read this. Okay, I just
Close
want,
the public hearing first.
thank you, I thought I did that. I'd like to close the public hearing. I think I did that, but,
Do we have to vote for
We
that?
have to vote.
Closing it?
I'll move to close the public. Do we
And
have
I'll
to vote?
second it.
Okay.
we're all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Sorry, this is getting a little clunky here. Helen, do you want to read? You want me to read? If you don't mind reading, I'm a little froggy tonight.
Oh, sure. Or how about,
No, don't volunteer me.
okay. All right, sure. So I read this whole page here. All right, Resolution 2026-003, whereas the applicant and property owner Christopher Modeleski has submitted an application for 3 area variances to construct a new addition. The project will be referred to at property located at 28 North Crescent Drive, Holmes, New York, in the town of Pawling, identified as tax parcel number 6856052358776-30, in the R1 zoning district, referred to as the site. And whereas the project is depicted on a plan set entitled New Addition, prepared by Victor Cuneo Architect PC and referred to as the plan. And whereas the applicant seeks the following area variances, referred to as the requested variances. Variance 1, 215-16 bulk regulation in the R1 zoning district to allow a front yard setback of 32 feet 7 inches, where 50 feet is required, 17 feet 3 inches in variance. That's what it would consist
17.
of 17
Five,
foot.
5. No, this should be correct, 17.5, right? Yeah.
All right, so,
that's-
sorry, so it's where 50 feet is required, a variance of 17 feet 5 inches. That's what that would, in variance, for an addition to the single-family residence. Did I confuse everyone? Or should I read that again?
We're good.
We're good.
Variance 2, 215-16 bulk regulation in the R1 zoning district to allow 21.25% building coverage on the lot where 10% building coverage is the maximum permitted. So that means an additional 11.25% variance. And variance 3, 215-33 in parentheses D, non-conforming building, to allow a non-conforming building containing a conforming use to be enlarged and structurally altered by the construction of a 528 square foot addition. This is a request for a 528 square foot variance, and is this where we would say also,
I think it's the additional 678 feet in the second floor. So it would be an additional 1,296 square feet for a total of, the home total would be 2,064 square feet.
okay, and that's on record?
That might be a little overage because I'm not sure if that included the front porch.
Yeah, it would be. In all candor, I think the number would be 528 and 576. Because
Okay,
the limit of the construction will stop where that wall is.
Yeah.
And then there's the decking over the front porch. That's going to be open to the air. That's not going to be enclosed space.
All right, so it's currently 576.
The other question I have, by combining those two numbers, he's not getting a variance for the whole thing. I mean, presumably some portion of that is permitted under the code. So it's gonna look like the variance is bigger than it really is, which is not a record we want to establish.
Okay, the variance is for the square footage of the second floor, which is the addition. The second floor is the addition to this, correct?
Well,
Well,
currently,
the-
there's a half a floor. There's
The only variance really for the two setbacks. I mean, like I said earlier, there is no FAR requirement, so we're going to build within that envelope that's proposed. That's not going to change.
All right, I just want to,
So the variance would be in relation to all of the new square footage that is being proposed. So it's everything that's added. So if you already have, what's already existing?
500, excuse me, 768.
768 is the existing house.
And being proposed is an additional 528 square feet.
Yeah.
That is the variance, that is what is being added, that is what is being changed. Structure is already non-conforming, but what you're at, it is non-conforming, and it's understood that under the law, it's non-conforming, that you're now asking for an addition, which is you're asking for a variance on what the existing condition is. So a variance of 528 square feet.
Okay, well,
So it's basically how written, maybe grammatically it could be changed a little bit there, but I mean, the addition is the 528 square feet.
okay, well, we're gonna move forward, and it's been discussed at length in the minutes, and
And this stuff is on record, too.
You could also just reference the sketch in the context of the decision. It's in the record.
yeah. Okay.
That would be a signpost for the building official.
So the end of that variance language should be just left, to allow a non-conforming building containing a conforming use to be enlarged and structurally altered by the construction of a 528 square foot addition. Whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.5 C17, the granting of an area variance for a single-family, two-family, or three-family residence is a Type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act and is not subject to review under the Act. And whereas a duly noted public hearing was held on May 22nd, 2026, during a duly noted meeting during which all of those who wished to speak were heard.
May or June?
Should be June.
June.
June 22nd. Sorry, I'm just
No,
reading.
Yeah.
Very good. And so I want to change that. The hearing was held on June 22nd, 2026, during a duly noted meeting during which all those who wished to speak were heard. And whereas the applicable standards for considering an area variance are set forth in Town Law Section 267-B and Pawling Zoning Law Section 215-52, D in parentheses, which require the board to take into consideration the benefit to the applicant if the variance is granted as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the general neighborhood or community by such grant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with Section 267-B of the Town Law and Pawling Zoning Law Section 215-52, D in parentheses, regarding the requested variances. 1, the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties.
Your thoughts?
I would agree, generally, that's true. I think it'll just look like it fits right in with everyone else.
Terrence?
I agree, as long as the septic is good.
John?
I agree. I think the proof is in that photo that was submitted showing the two houses on either side. It's still going to be smaller than the other two, so.
Yeah, the change is within, it's residential, it'll be aesthetically very pleasing. I think it'll be a benefit.
Okay, now, are we taking that language off the recording, or do you want me to actually write it in?
You can just say, you can all just say, if you agree.
Which we just did.
Yeah,
Okay.
we all agree.
All right, so do we all
That
agree
okay with you?
formally?
So
Okay,
I just write board members.
Agree.
2, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. I think that just stands as logical.
I concur.
I think it's the Whaley Lake rule. Yes, I agree.
I love Shore Haven, yes, it's definitely.
Okay, we're all agreement that that question is acceptable?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. 3, the requested variance is not numerically substantial. I don't think it will appear to be substantial.
I think it is numerically substantial in relationship to the existing structure. However, it certainly is appropriate to achieve the goals of the applicant.
I agree with Terrence. It is numerically, I mean, the numbers are significant. It's almost 50%. But particularly given the topography of the property and the way it works into the slope of the hill, I think the circumstances warrant, the circumstances specific to this house warrant a variance of that magnitude.
I agree, it is numerically substantial, but, it does, unfortunately, he already started out with a 12% lot coverage. It was already, he started off that way, too.
Okay, so we're in agreement with that number 3 question. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. 4, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. And I think that's true, except for if the septic is not brought up to code as needed.
Ditto.
I agree.
I don't think it does cause any kind of adverse effect or impact. I think it will actually cause a positive impact on the environment as long as the septic works.
Okay, and we're all in agreement with that 4th factor?
Yes.
Okay, 5, the difficulties are self-created. And yes, you shouldn't be allowed to have a improvement of your house, but you want it, and so you're creating that problem. But I think it's okay.
I concur.
I agree.
As we always say, they're always self-created, so, but that does not make it so that we don't.
Now, in
Grant
the
them.
past, we didn't ask for each factor to be agreed upon. We just said it, and
We
then,
just discussed it.
yeah. Okay. So anyway, do we all agree with number 5? That, as stated, that the difficulties are not?
Yes.
Okay. Enough.
Then we have the last bit to put in, be it further resolved part. Now, that part, would we add that this is pursuant to Board of Health approval of the septic? Is that where we can add that part?
Just for, you don't all have to agree on that, each one of those, you can, there could be differing
Yes.
people.
Well, we haven't done in the
It's
past. That's,
overall-
Terrence and I always disagree.
It's the overall, yeah, you don't have to agree on any
Right.
single point, you could also.
so we don't have to formally do that
Right.
for the record. Okay.
And we'll pull all of that, we'll pull the language at the end for.
Okay,
Just
so, but
One
back
other
to
little
this.
housekeeping thing. Okay, say he does go to the Board of Health and they say he needs a new septic. Does that mean he can't, like,
That's
what are
his
your-
next step.
You can add it as a condition, right, obviously, to, what the Board of Health aspect that that in order for the variance to be granted, that they would have to,
go through the process?
Validate the current
but it's,
septic
so
system.
just for it's 150 gallons per day for septic, per bedroom.
150, what?
150 gallons of water used per day
Yeah.
for septic per bedroom, just, yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about water use, we're talking about,
For the
capacity.
Yeah, the capacity of it,
I would just want to get a language that would give the applicant certainty of what's required from him and give the board, as well as our representative, ability to validate that it's been submitted. And the next question would be, I don't know what the process is with the Department of Health. Do you think it would be helpful to him or to us to have a time certain window in which to get this? I don't know if they
But
pick up
Terrence,
the phone.
can I just ask your thought process? Like, so say he only has a 1,000-gallon tank. So for a fourth bedroom, he needs 1,200 gallons, 1,250. He wants 4 bedrooms. He redoes his septic, so he has that, so he can get the bedroom. Like, what are you, like, what is your end game kind of looking like here? Like, if you want to just make sure if the septic needs to get fixed, it gets fixed, or it, like, because generally we don't deal with septics. I understand for us, it's the environmental part of it, but if he needs to fix a septic, he needs to fix the septic.
But the environmental part of it is one of the reasons why we're in business.
And we said that in number 4,
And in addition to
the adverse
that.
impact, just now.
So I just want to understand your thought.
You asking me, I'm answering. You
Okay.
know. In addition to that, it is something that we consider when they're adding bedrooms. We're talking about, most of the time we do garages and such. When they're actually expanding living space, domicile area, it is something that we deal with. It's not unprecedented,
Yeah, I just want to understand that so it comes back that he has a lesser tank, but he still wants that 4th bedroom. If he's willing to increase the tank size, where's the
But
holdup?
that's what we're saying. He may not have to increase the tank size.
Okay.
But
But I guess what Margot's saying is he can't build if he doesn't increase the tank size.
if he needs to increase the tank size.
Exactly.
So
If he needs to.
I just, and I may be wrong, I understand in this aspect because environmentally and it's near the lake, that normally septics isn't something that falls under zoning.
Well, it may not be possible. Let's just say it's not possible to have a bigger tank for whatever reason, or for.
There
it
are
just
other,
simply-
there's those like systems.
We said it here, and he in fact also said a phrase too, that these variances are contingent on the requirements of the Board of Health being met for that additional bedroom.
Yeah.
That's it, pretty simple.
Building permits, yeah.
And that it does impact our feeling, this is very close to the lake and it is a critical issue for everyone there. Neighbors and people who live in Pawling, and so it's just simply to say that the, to granting these variances is contingent on,
I'm just wondering in my mind the process-wise, so we grant this pending Board of Health approval.
right.
So does that mean he can't move forward until he has Board of Health approval? Is that,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what your kind of
Yes.
process, is that what you're thinking? So here, he goes then to the Board of Health, then if he has the Board of Health approval, then he'll move on to the building department.
Well, presumably, he's not gonna pay the money to do a full set of plans if he can't satisfy Board of Health requirements.
If I could just interrupt, and I'm sorry, I don't think your building official is going to give me a building permit without being
Absolutely
satisfied that this design, including that 4th bedroom, complies with the sanitary code.
Yeah, I don't want to, my thought is I don't want to put in any stipulation that,
Create an extra burden.
Yeah.
so I agree that we need to make sure you have the right septic, but I'm just not sure if we're the ones that need, but this is a special case because again, it's right on Whaley Lake. It's not on a large parcel that's not near a body of water.
You could simply say in the
It's
context
less
of your,
relevant. If it were not on Whaley Lake, which it is, which we all know how the proximity of the homes and the environmental impact. But if it were on Charles Coleman, and we had some concerns about the size of the septic, and they were building a new bedroom which triggers septic size escalation, I would be equally as concerned.
Okay, I'm just
Plus,
want to
too,
understand.
we are an MS4 community, and sanitary sewer systems are part of that to make sure they are working.
Okay, this
properly
is our, like,
on
we
all
always ask,
parcels.
yeah, we always ask where the septic is, but we've never had.
We do check if there's any outstanding violations or problems. We're not allowed to grant a variance if there is
Yeah.
a fine
This
owed
is-
or
we just have-
problems that are present and obvious on the property.
Yeah, we have discussed and we've asked about septics, but we've never had a stipulation, so I just want to understand how it would impact the applicant is kind of where I'm going with that.
All you really have to say in the context of your decision is applicant shall comply with the strictures of the Dutchess County Sanitary Code.
Are you
Right.
comfortable with that phrase?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Kinda gets you
that's
home.
on record now, it's
You
on our
comfortable, counsel,
recording.
with that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And it would just be, the building inspector is gonna be,
Okay, so now we do a pursuant, okay. Do you want to read the last part?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals will now vote to grant the requested variances subject to the following conditions. One, that pursuant to Section 215-52, F, the authorized activity must commence and substantially complete within 2 years from the date of issuance, otherwise they are revoked. Payment of all fees and escrow.
And 3, the Board of Health approval, or as more
Are paid
eloquently.
and appropriately. I'm sorry.
And the compliance with the Board of Health
And the applicant will comply with the requirements of the Board of Health
relative to septic.
relative to septic.
Good?
Okay?
Good?
Good.
Now, so it is, we're voting on whether we should grant all three
All three.
motions.
Yes.
Okay?
variances.
We could do them one at a time, or we could do them all together. I'm comfortable doing them all together in this case.
Karen, are you comfortable with that? John?
I am comfortable with that.
I make a
although it's
motion
more
that
than-
we vote to grant all three motions at the same time. Is it okay if I put it like that?
Yes.
Okay.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Hope it dries up.
I don't need the rain.
We need the rain, right? We need the
We
rain.
need the rain.
Thank you. Very nice to meet all of you.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Let's go on to our second one. All right, our second applicant this evening, Mr. Colbert, application ZBA 2026, number 3, property location 1652 Route 292, Holmes, New York. Parcel 1340896857182911030. General municipal law said that this is exempt and seeker type 2. A site inspection was held on Sunday, June 14th. Myself, Helen, and Terrence were in attendance. You have the floor.
Good evening.
Hi.
My presentation won't be any near that presentation. I'm asking to add a garage to the side of my house and expand this other side of my house to add a little bit more closets and space, as you saw in the prints and by the site visit. I need variances because it's Whaley Lake and there's nothing conforming. But the north and the north and the south sides are the areas where there's big change in the and the setbacks. As you can see from the charts, we are our north, the actual setback is 11 foot 9.5. I'm asking to go to 10.5 inches. And on the south side, I'm 19 foot 10, and I'm proposing to go to 16 foot 3.5. And the house itself is in dire need of a roof, leaks, it's built in the 30s. It's only 832 square feet. Now, when I was asked to do this for this chart, the increase in square footage goes to 1,654 square feet. But that's the total. That's not living space. That's the garage. And I'm only adding about 200 square feet of closets. That's what I'm adding to the living space. As far as the heights, just so the board knows, the actual code is 35 feet to the mean of a roof, which is what's allowed. And we're well under that. We're in character with the neighborhood. And I want to make it look like it should. So I'm asking for your permission to build my garage and not have to shovel snow off the cars.
All right, Helen, any questions?
Yeah, what's the height right now? Your current height of the house? Maybe you say it here, let's see, maximum building coverage.
No, I don't think it's on, that's 10.
So I know
That's
you're
20
saying your plan is to build under 35, because that's
Yeah,
the highest.
I'm well under 35. The code is 35 feet to the mean of a roof. So if you have a 12-pitch roof, it's half that triangle.
Okay.
That's the definition of the mean. Where, like we had said on Sunday, it's gonna basically match the house next door as far as ridge heights.
So you don't have
We have on there, I think he's got it called out at 29. We found it on the drawing, 29 feet to the ridge.
29 to that mean,
No, not the mean,
that's the point of the roof.
to the ridge. So that's the old total.
All right,
If I went 35 to the mean and at a 12 pitch, that means the building would be about 43 feet tall. It would
well, it does say
Be-
maximum
be
building
too high.
height is what's allowed is 35 here in your drawing, and actual proposed is 35. It's not 29 here. So your drawing says 35.
Page 2?
Want the full plan?
Big drawing. That seems to be a loose sheet.
That
You've
was
got-
the new sheet that we got.
35 max building height. We're not going to that. But that is what I'm allowed, is 35 would be to the mean.
And it appears that's what you are proposing as well.
35 to the ridge
Well, it
is on the
says
drawing? Well, that's just this chart.
Proposed.
This chart may be wrong because
maximum building height. So now it says maximum number of stories right now is 3 stories, and
Yep.
you are proposing to make it only 2.
yeah.
How will that?
I have attic storage in that house now. It's this tall.
Okay.
We need the space. We need storage. So I'm going with a steeper roof, so my wife doesn't have to crawl around pulling buckets over to a pull-down staircase.
All
And
right,
I
so
think
that's
it's gonna make
because
it look a lot nicer if you look at
The 2 means you will, I'm sorry to interrupt. The 2 means you are gonna not have an attic at all then.
that whole roof system is attic.
Okay, well, it's just confusing because doubling the size and you're going from 3 floors to 2. And that was one of my questions for you.
Okay.
Make logical sense, so, can you just explain that?
I have a basement, I have the first floor, and I have an attic. And that's what we're proposing. All the square footage is added, that 20 by 30 garage to the left side of the house.
This is your paperwork, so if it's represented here, so you're saying the 2 is the basement and the first floor and an attic, so, but I'm not concerned about the number of floors. If its square footage is appropriate, what you're saying, you're adding roughly, 820 additional feet.
Basically doubling the size.
Okay, that's, anyone else want to ask some questions?
Forgive me, I'm supposed to pick Travis up, and I gotta get my mother-in-law to do it.
I don't have any questions, John, if you have any.
No, I don't have any questions.
All right, all right, then, we're good. Then if you want to sit down and we can open the public meeting and we'll go from there. All right, I open the public meeting. Did we get any letters on this?
No phone calls, nothing.
All right, we can close the public meeting.
But letters were sent.
Did you
Letters were not
The
sent.
mailing?
do you have?
Oh, yeah, no, they did the mailings, I got the receipts.
Oh, but
Okay.
nothing came back?
Nothing came back
I
from the
see.
neighbors, yeah, no comments, no letters
Okay.
from the neighbors.
We're gonna close the public meeting. Do we have to make a motion for? Okay, I
Motion,
make a
second.
motion for, to close the public hearing.
And I'll second it.
All in favor? All right,
Discussion?
discussion.
Before we start, there are 2 resolutions before me, and so which one, I've got, oh, this is Redolowski, okay. Another, fine.
In our discussion, Billy, just if you do have the option, to pause this, and if you need to go back to the drawing board and then come back to us. So at this point, at any point that is an option. So just, I should have told the other gentleman too.
Like I had mentioned, I want to add dormers, but I want to verify that I'm not going to get taxed based on dormers. I want to have a meeting with the tax assessor. I want to make it pretty, but I'm not going to make something that I can't afford to live in.
Okay, so, all right, I'm just, when we're, discuss, that is an option. All right.
So I have a concern about the garage being pushed all the way practically to the edge of the property. And I'm worried more about setting a precedent that, if we allow you to go within 10 inches of your property line when you have 10 feet right now, that everyone in town will say, oh, well, I'd like to expand to my property line within 10 inches. I have a real concern about that.
You had those sheds on the property line there for,
But you can replace a shed that's there, but you can't add a whole addition and roof 35 feet tall or leading to 35 feet. I don't believe our code says you can replace a shed with an addition to a house
No.
that's substantial.
no, all I'm saying, it was right on the property
Yeah.
line forever.
Well,
Should he come up? Should he come up to answer?
Yes.
Do you wanna come up
'cause
so you can-
Otherwise I can't get it on the recording.
Yeah, that, it's shown on the page too, the sheds that are basically on the property line, on the north side.
right.
And
But
I'm
the
asking.
the
what's
shed,
that?
you also have to take into effect snow,
Yeah.
rain,
Yeah.
runoff.
Yeah,
having a whole building versus a shed, that's, you know, and yes, I understand you own that property, but you're leaving. Say you don't own that property anymore and they decide to put up a fence, then, I mean, there's just, that's very close. Very close.
10.5 inches. I know. I know. I wish I had a bigger lot, but I don't.
Terrence, any
No,
questions?
I understand what's being raised. I think that to me, it's currently, you own the adjacent property, is that correct? Where
Yes. Yeah.
Because one of the considerations we've had, especially in Whaley Lake, where everything is so congested, is that we wanted to make sure that we allowed at least the ability for fire equipment to get between the two lots, safety equipment, for whatever reason. However, the fact that you own the adjacent lot is compelling to me, that this is enough of an extenuating circumstances that I wouldn't be alarmed by that narrow passage, because you in fact own both lots. However, like it was said, what if it were not owned by you, and somebody wanted to put up a fence, and somebody got hurt at your dock? That could be a problem, you know?
Well, there's one factor here, the whole driveway system there is common between all three properties. So I have access.
The other way.
I have access on the south side.
I understand.
I launched a boat 2 weeks ago on that strip of land between the two houses.
I think
It's
this
not a
is-
problem, and Phillips also has an area around there.
I think this is unique enough that I would stand by the concerns of the board, but yet I think this is unique enough that in this particular situation, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Thank you.
Thoughts?
I sort of feel a little bit at a disadvantage not having been unable to visit, but I think from the picture here, I get a pretty strong sense of what it is. I mean, I've sort of seen both sides.
And the shed is not something you see, it's at or below the level of that.
Well, when you consider Whaley Lake and the formal front of the house,
Yeah,
we could care less what it looks like from 292. And that's the God's honest truth.
yeah.
You look at this from the front, and I should have actually brought photos of the front, because it's the ugliest house amongst a really nice house in the
I
neighborhood.
mean, by front, you mean if
The
one's
lake
on
would be,
the water?
the lake side is where it comes, and you can see everything from the lake side. Yeah. The roadside, my wife wants to put ivy, Boston ivy on lattice.
All right, shall we proceed? Helen? Do you want to read?
Sure.
So that's it.
Let's see if I got the right one. Yep, got it. Okay. Resolution 2026-003. Whereas the applicant and property owner, Bill Colbert,
Yeah, Colbert.
has submitted an application for 5 area variances.
One second. The previous resolution was the same
Right, so
number.
that should be resolution number,
I think this was 3 and the other one was 4.
The other one was 3, I have the other one in
yeah,
front of me.
do resolution number 4.
Oh. I'm pretty sure this one's supposed to be 3 and that one's supposed to be 4, but I could.
I just want to make sure
Yeah,
we're.
no, heavens, yes. Let's get it right.
All right.
So which one is this, 3 or 4? This is 4?
Because this one said 4.
Which one?
Mr. Modilowski said 4.
Yeah, but we read it as 3, so that would be 3. We read his first, and now we're reading Billy's second.
Okay.
So did I read the wrong thing?
Just,
Right, but he's gonna be 4 now.
Okay, 4.
Correct?
Okay,
Correct?
correct.
so let's start again.
Sorry.
Resolution number 2026-004. Whereas the applicant and property owner, Bill Colbert, has submitted an application for 5 area variances to install a new residential addition and garage, referred to as the project, at property located at 1652 New York State Route 292, Holmes, New York, identified as tax parcel number 6857-18-295-037 in the R1 zoning district, referred to as the site. And whereas the project is depicted on a plan set entitled Colbert Residence, prepared by Mag Designs, Fishkill, New York, referred to as the plan. And whereas the applicant seeks the following area variances, the requested variances: 215-16 bulk regulation to allow a front yard setback of 37.292 feet, where 50 feet is required, and that's literally a variance needed of 12.71 feet for the installation of a residential addition. Did we decide those numbers are correct?
Everett and Sarah went over the numbers.
Okay, so one is rounded and the other one isn't. I mean, one's .292. That's all right, as long as it's clear, because that, there's a
it's-
2/100ths of a,
But it's not clear when you're having feet and percentages.
it doesn't
We go
add
back
up to
the-
50.
We go back to the same thing that you have, I think it's called imperial measurements, is that right, John? The imperial standard?
I think they got ambitious on the 292 and added an extra 2 on there.
Right.
It's on
But
Route
what is
292.
that?
I don't think, it's supposed to be 37.29.
29. Okay, is that acceptable if we say
Because that will equal 50.
instead 37 feet with 29 inches, where 50 feet is required, that requires a variance, an additional
290, okay.
of 12 feet and 70, and not inches, is it? 12.71, so I don't
Sorry,
understand that.
I don't want to speak
No,
out
no,
on it.
no.
But
Let's talk about
that's
it.
the issue. If you look at this first one, it's in hybrid measurements.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that at the end here. We're going to,
But we have to deal with this now.
I,
You know?
So is there another
The-
way
the
we can
second-
calculate
The
this?
second one, the point down, is not hybrid. The second one is in standard units. Who knows what the third one may be?
Third
That's
one's
in our
okay.
math
It's
skills
pro-
here.
it's problematic, you know, so.
no, I agree.
So let's translate it now. What is 37.29? That should read 37 feet point
I don't know,
29 hundredths of
It's
what?
37.29, and the variance is
But how many,
12.71.
the .29, we have to transfer it to inches.
Oh,
That's,
So what is
Hold on.
29
hold on, I did some math.
hundredths
One moment,
out of
please.
12 inches?
I did the homework on this. I just gotta find it. I got too much homework going on here.
how you making, Johnny? You look like you're burning rubber there.
3.48 inches.
Thank you.
What'd you say? Sorry, Bill.
Like 29 feet is 3.48 inches.
48, okay, now, keep going. The 12.71, and see if those match up to 50.
There it is. I know I had it here.
I don't think that's gonna match up,
No.
yeah.
We've got to standardize it, so it should be 3.5 inches, round it.
Well, after this, I'm proposing we go to an inch.
What's it mean?
Then we need to have a minimum. I was just telling Joanne, we need to have a minimum.
You may want to ask the applicant to provide everything in inches to you in one standard format instead of having it in the separate format.
I
so
don't know
you
that this
have
was
to do the-
prepared by the
So that you
applicant.
don't have to do the calculations yourselves.
I know, but we're here right now, so how, we gotta hear. So,
Yeah, you can ask the applicant to.
Well, he's doing it, he's telling us.
Well, what did you want converted, 12.71?
12.7, what's the .71 equal?
1 feet. .52 inches,
8,
8.5 inches, 8.52 inches.
That works.
okay. Yep, does, okay. So, whereas the applicant seeks the following area variances. 1, 215-16 bulk regulation to allow a front yard setback of 37 feet, 3.5 inches, where 50 feet is required, which is an addition of 12 feet, 8.5 inches for the installation of a residential addition. 2, 215-33E, side yard setbacks in Whaley Lake to allow a side yard setback north of 10.5 inches. What does that mean? The north, all right. To allow a side yard setback that is on the north side, that would be 10.5 inches where 8 feet is required, so you're asking for an addition of 7 feet, 1.5 inches in the variance for the installation of a garage addition. 3, 215-33E, side yard setbacks in Whaley Lake to allow the total of side yard setbacks to be 17 feet, 2 inches, where 20 feet is minimum total permitted, and that means an addition of 2 feet, 10 inches, which is what would be covered in the variance for the installation of a garage and residential addition. Number 4, the fourth variance, 215-16 bulk regulation in the R1 zoning district to allow 96.1% lot coverage, where 10% is the maximum permitted. So, let's see. 10% is permitted. This would allow 96.1% lot coverage, which would mean an additional 86.1% variance. I don't understand how it increases it that much.
Because it's just bringing it in conformance. It's probably, the lot coverage that's existing is beyond the 10% already. So,
Because all that blacktop.
Well, then why is it referred to here as 86.1%? If it's,
Because you're allowed 10%, so you're doing the,
right.
Right.
minusing the 10% from the total of 96.1.
Just 10%. We don't need
it's
a
already
variance for 10%.
got a house there.
Yeah, so currently it's at 90. Hold on, it's here somewhere. The percentage.
So it's at 96.1, you minus the 10%, and you're giving him the variance for 86.1.
I know, but he's not changing the footprint that much.
Yeah, well, currently it's at like 92.
Covering
yeah.
everything there.
Existing is 92.4%. The proposed is 96.1% with an increase of 3.3%.
All right, but does that make sense to you, how that's written, number 4? Because it doesn't make sense to me. That it should be the existing.
I knew that it was already 92% beforehand.
Okay, so you're comfortable with that?
I'm
That's my question. Okay, then as read, and the fifth variance, 215-33D, non-conforming building to allow an 833 square foot non-conforming building containing a conforming use to be enlarged and structurally altered by the construction of a 587 square foot garage and a 220 square foot addition, 800, which means an addition of 807 square feet for this variance. Whereas pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.5C 17 in parentheses, the granting of an area variance for a single-family, two-family, or three-family residence is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act and is not subject to review under the Act. And whereas a duly noticed public hearing was held on May 22nd, 2026. Thank you. Whereas a duly noticed public hearing was held on June 22nd, 2026, during duly noticed meetings during which all those who wished to speak were heard, and whereas the applicable standards for considering an area variance are set forth in Town Law Section 267-B and Pawling Zoning Law Section 215-52D, which require the board to take into consideration the benefit to the applicant if the variance is granted as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the general neighborhood or community by such grant. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with Section 267-B of the Town Law and Pawling Zoning Law Section 215-52D regarding the requested variances. So now we're going to ask these important questions. 1, the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. I'm just not happy with it being so close to that property line and setting a precedent. Now, whether that will impact the neighborhood since you own the house next door, but apparently that's a separate property, isn't it? I don't see why that gives it any added, positive weight. But I think it would be undesirable to create a building that goes right up to the property line, an undesirable change in the neighborhood that's setting a precedent. That's my feeling.
Terrence?
Anybody else wanna?
Yeah, I would agree with Helen, although I think that it does impact me differently that he owns the property that's next door. Certainly, he does not see it as undesirable. I think that if, in fact, the property does change hands, the prospective buyer would see the property as it stands, and they can make a determination whether or not they want to live next door to a big garage or not. So I think that mitigates it sufficiently enough for me to be acceptable.
I think I agree with Helen, whether it ultimately affects my vote or not, it's still an undesirable change, whether somebody else owns it or not. So my answer is yes, it is an undesirable change. It's a bad precedent to set. Whether there are mitigating circumstances or not, it's still a bad precedent to set.
I think that you have to at least be able to walk on that side of your house, on your property. I don't know about you, but I know I'm not.
Stone wall on the property line.
I know I'm not 10.5 inches wide. I'm just saying, I feel like that there needs, especially, again, I'm going back to the water. I think that if we hitch it over a smidge, I understand things are narrow in Whaley Lake and stuff, but that's under a foot. I think the whole idea of it is not bad, but I think it's a little, very, almost, I'd say too close for comfort.
You know, we voted down something else that was somewhat like this. There was a property with an open cement space on the side of the building, and we decided it would impose and restrict the neighbors coming down to the lake and having access if that was closed in, because it would have been right roughly on the property line. And so that's part of my feeling too. And how do we keep someone from coming and saying, gee, you did that here?
Well,
on
we
this
just saw the other
property?
gentleman brought us the package of all the variances that we've granted.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not opposed to the concept and the idea, but can we hitch it over?
If I have to.
Okay, what do you,
What do you want to see? 2 feet,
I
3
mean,
feet?
We know you want to put a
I
car in
want to
there.
get 2 cars in the garage.
Well, you
Otherwise,
called it
that's
a
not
car
worth
and a
going
half.
through this. It's really not.
well, I mean, do
You wanna come up
you wanna come up?
Yeah, I'm not gonna add a 1-car garage to the side of my house.
Well, I understand.
Car
I
and a
think,
half.
you know, in
That's wasted property anyway. What I'm losing is a 10 by 12 patch of weeds.
Yeah, it's,
Oh.
that's not the issue.
That's it.
Because I think you're improving the property. I
Yeah.
think it'll look much better than it
I do
does now.
too, and I put a hip roof on it, so looking at that elevation from the road,
well,
It's the precedent. It's because it's gonna allow someone else to say, and it could go in front of a court for the next applicant who says they let them do it here.
I understand that. But
what, are we allowed to discuss numbers like this?
Yes, and you could also ask the back in, keep this open and come back in with a different plan or different.
Billy,
Yeah.
Billy, how wide is the garage?
it was like 19 feet outside to outside, so when you split 2 doors in it,
So you can certainly get, anything less, you probably wouldn't be able to get 2 cars side by side.
right?
But
Not
you-
without wrecking the doors, hitting the other car, or be able to walk
Yeah.
around them.
And so, but you have good depth going from.
I've got 29 inside. Well, it'll be about 27 inside, which is acceptable. That's
So
fine.
basically, what you're conceiving is perhaps even a 4-car space. If you had the full area variance granted, you would be able to get 2 cars side by side, 2 rows of 2 cars.
No, I can't fit them in 27 feet. You can't park 2 cars. Their cars are at least 20 feet long, 15 to 20 feet long.
So, you're-
So, if you,
I can't get 4 cars in there. I wish I could.
okay, I'm just trying to.
I would if I could.
I'm trying to.
so, if you, so right now, it would be, it's 20 feet is what you're
Wide.
wide. So if you made the total side, you left 2 feet there, that would give you, so you would take,
So if you want 24 inches, I'm asking for
14.
10.
So
I'm
you're-
shortening the building by 14 inches. I'm narrowing it 14 inches from what's already on the drawing. I'm
because,
asking for 10 and a half.
and we,
Okay.
and we made
Or, yeah, that's what I'm showing, 10 and a half. You want 24. So I'm asking for another 14.
Are you asking for
Or
24?
I will lose 14 inches of garage, which I'm okay with.
24, for a total of, 2 feet.
Sorry, Bill, go ahead.
I'm okay with losing 14 inches. That 2 feet of land there is, well, hang surfboards or something on, I don't know. Kayaks, I don't care. 2 feet, I can do.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying instead of having a 10-inch walkway, you have a 2 feet, which would be 14 inches from his width.
So it would take 14 inches off of the 20-foot that he's proposing.
Is that acceptable to you, Mr.?
If that's,
Not preferable. We know it's not preferable.
everything's a trade-off, isn't it? It's all good.
It's my septic
Madam
system.
Madam Chairwoman?
Helen?
Well, I think we've still got the same problem of the appearance of being, you know, close to the property line, and I don't think that his owning the second property is enough of a mitigating, your existing wall here, that this is what exists here. So your garage is this.
Yes.
That's what you're
This is the
proposing.
existing deck that gets removed, that's the existing shed that will get removed. So this will go, I think we're discussing now, from 10.5 to 20 to 2 feet.
I just need to think about it. Do you guys, anyone else want to have thoughts? John?
Well, do we want to continue on while we talk about the other questions, or?
For clarity, this was variance number 2, right?
Yes.
No, it was the question number 1. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the variance.
The impact would go to variance number 2, correct?
Yes.
So whether the the factor is undesirable change to do with the neighborhood detriment.
Where 8 feet is required.
1, yes.
24 inches, no, okay. Variance of to allow a side yard setback on the north side of 24 inches, where 8 feet is required, the variance being requested would be 6 feet, 6 inches. No, 6 feet variance, because that's the difference between 2
Yes.
feet and 8 feet. 6 feet variance for the installation of a garage addition. Okay. All right, so let's go on then. The other question for consideration, number 2, the benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Yeah, that seems pretty obvious. You need these variances.
I agree with Helen.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, 3, the requested variance is not numerically substantial. I think for all the same reasons, this is doubling the size of the house. I don't think it's gonna look too imposing. I don't think it's gonna cause a big problem because he's doubling it, because it falls down below the level of the road. So I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, again, numerically, it is substantial, but given the circumstances, I agree with you.
My apologies, I skipped over.
I agree with John and Helen.
All right, numerically, it was substantial from the get-go. You started out with 92% lot coverage, so, I mean, you can only go up from there, so, no matter what, it's gonna be substantial.
Okay, number 4, for consideration, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. I think other than crowding the lot, it won't be a problem because you're gonna be improving that structure. It looks, looks like an old house and polishing it up and giving it
She
a
needs a
new-
lot of lipstick.
Yeah. Would improve the conditions in the neighborhood.
Terrence?
I think that certainly to bring it up cosmetically would embellish the neighborhood, but listening to my co-board members, I think that they really think the I don't want to use the term eyesore, but the imposing structure of the garage could, kind of counterbalance that a little bit. I'm still in affirmation of it, though, the bottom line is.
Yeah, I agree with Helen. I don't think it's gonna have an adverse impact.
No. Environmentally, going back to the hitching it over that extra inches, although, yes, it's only weeds and grass, but those weeds and grass can take the runoff, and it's someplace for that snow to come off your roof and whatnot to go. And so environmentally, that will help that. Impact physical neighborhood, I think it'll be a great improvement. I think it'll look very nice and jazz up the neighborhood.
That's my plan.
All right, and the fifth consideration, the difficulties are self-created, and I think it is because you want
Absolutely.
to improve your house, yeah.
I agree with Helen.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it's always something.
Yeah, they're always self-created. And again, not to go back to decreasing that setback will also decrease your lot coverage. It's only a smidge, but for that high number, every little bit helps. So I guess we'll have to recalculate that. Do we have to do that now? Or can it be recalculated, the lot coverage?
No, you would have to do it, because if you're granting variances tonight, you need to
All right, how are we
know
gonna figure out
what
that
all
math?
that is.
Okay, let's see.
Billy, work some magic here.
It's 58 square feet, so I have, actually, it's less than that. Yeah. So,
Billy.
it's
Plus has something here.
7.5.
Does this help you look at this? I'm just saying, this might be a little bigger than on your phone. But, it's
Do you
on
need a
this.
pencil or a pen?
It's 0.7, it's 0.75 delta, that 2 foot, so it would add, where are we? We're going for the, I can't read that. I can't read it.
So what is the total proposed,
He's getting there, I think.
okay.
I can't fucking read this. So. It drops from 3.7% asking percent, would drop that to 3.628.
So what is the, proposed, so you're,
This is where I was confused by the bulk regulation in R1 zoning district to allow. So we maybe, Bill, reduce the 96.1% by 3.628?
Yes,
so how many square feet difference is it? 50,
we just cut 58 square feet off,
see, 58 point,
yeah,
58 square feet.
58.
All right, so,
So I'm reducing the number that's here by 3.63%.
7685 divided by 7728.
So I've got 90, it becomes 92.47%.
247.
That can't be it.
Yeah, that sounds too much.
I'm sorry, it should be the, less than that, yeah, 80, no,
What
no,
do you start with?
92,
96.1.
96.1.
Right, but
yeah, you start with 90.
Yeah, we're taking 0.725 off that. Or it goes to 95, 95.20. 6.1.
So we take the 3.63 from 86.1. Is that right? Instead of the 96.1?
775.
Increase instead of a
Yeah,
3.7.
goes to 93.75, 95.375 is what we would be asking for instead of the 90.
95.375.
So should we say 95.4?
Could be
Instead of 96.1.
375.
So 95.4.
Yeah, because everything's rounded to 1/10. So, yeah, let's say 95.4,
Okay.
okay? So then that means the variance number 4 should read 215-16 bulk regulation in the R1 zoning district to allow 95.4% lot coverage where 10% is the maximum permitted, which means a variance of, to add that to.
85.4%.
85.4?
Right.
Okay, which is the maximum permitted, that means an 85.4% variance. Okay. All right, now where are we?
So we did all the questions, and then
We have to read the last. Be it further resolved that the zoning board of appeals hereby is gonna vote now to whether to grant the requested variances subject to the following conditions. 1, pursuant to section 215-52F, the authorized activity must commence and substantially complete within 2 years from the date of issuance, otherwise they are revoked. 2, payment of all fees in escrow. And I make a motion of what I've just read. Is that okay? I make that motion.
No other variances have to change?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Joanne?
Does any other variances have to change by the reduction in the garage size?
no, just that, the side
No, we
yard
changed
setback.
Back in
the
lot
bulk
coverage.
regulation, I have to read that first one.
Number 5, number 5.
Well, the, square
First one,
feet
I don't
of
think I
the,
read
Because
those.
now, because now you're altering the garage. You took off
We're altering the side,
feet,
total
right?
side setback.
no, he took off 14 and a half inches.
Sorry.
So it decreases by the,
Which changes the square footage.
Right,
of the
right,
side.
change the square foot.
by, what was it, 58 feet?
Was
so-
that 58 square feet? Was that your?
Yeah. So it would be 587 minus 58, which would be 529 square feet for the garage, for a total of 807 minus 58 equals 749.
And no point.
No points.
All right, so number 5, I don't think I read the first one either, changed. The first variance, but let's do number 5 and then I'll go back. Number,
We also have to do number 3. Total side yard setbacks. Changing one of the setbacks, we have to change the total.
A side yard, so allowed to have a total side yard setback be 17 or 20 feet, okay.
well, why would that impact it? That's the other side of the building.
I understand the total side yard setbacks is a combination of the two.
Either 8 feet or 20, or combined
So
20.
17
Is that what you're saying? I'm sorry. You're right.
increases it.
Yeah, it says the combined have to be 8 feet, so the variance is,
So right now it's 6 feet on one side, so this one would have to be,
I'm assuming you're asking for a 2 foot 10 inch variance, you would subtract that.
It would be 1 foot.
14 inches.
1 foot, I think I went the wrong way. So the amount less, is 1 foot 7.5 inches, because we're decreasing it. So side yard allowed, the total side yard setback be 17.5, so it would be the 6 foot plus the 12.18, so that would be 18.85 inches. And so 20 minus 18.85. We're really working on our math here tonight.
So that
It's just,
actually.
it's
all-
14 inches, so it's 18,
Yeah, but it's both
18.
sides because you gotta take the 12 point.
18.4. My arithmetic wrong?
So there's the 12.85 from the first one, and then the 6 foot from the second one.
Or any deadline, maybe he would come back and go back and amend his application with the new numbers.
What's your, what's your?
And maybe bring them back to you with, in the proper, with the feats that you would, that you're asking for, and him to come back with new numbers so that it's a clean review of it, of how it's being presented.
Is there, because that would set him back at least a month, is there any other, summer times when people usually want to start things? Is there,
I mean, you could, it was just a suggestion.
Are you planning to start, Bill, as soon as possible?
Probably.
But let me ask this question, do we have to, if we agree on the concept, and do we have to have a separate meeting to vote on it? I mean, do we
Can
have to have
someone
a
else
formal meeting to vote on it?
can they confirm numbers?
If you waited for him to bring back additional information, yes, you would have to have it, you would have to do it at your next meeting.
Or but we vote on it in concept and just expect these numbers will be, we have to vote on the numbers in front of us.
Want to make sure we get the total side yard setbacks correct. Number 3.
Why are we not just adding 14 inches to the 17.2? Am I missing something?
No, that's exactly what.
That's what we're doing. It seems pretty simple.
I mean, taking 14,
He's subtracting 14 inches from the garage, which adds 14 inches to the setback.
So it's 1 foot 7.5 inches.
Well, I mean, it's just,
okay.
it's 18, I mean, it's 14 inches to 17 feet, 2 inches. That's 18.4 inches.
I'm sorry, I was misunderstanding and mishearing. It sounded like there was a little confusion
Yeah,
to me,
I
that's
mean,
all.
it seems
I
to
was just
me
trying
that
to make sure there's no
the
confusion.
arithmetic
Can you write it down so one of us can read it clearly then?
So it's 18 point what?
Yeah, so it's 1 foot,
Minus.
4 inches, so the variance would be, 14, would be 1 foot, 8 inches. Right?
6, it was 1.4.
No, it should be 6 inches. It should be 6 inches.
It would be 18.6.
Be
18
one-
feet, 6 inches.
Why is the,
Or 20 is the
It would be
minimum.
18 feet 4.5 inches. So the variance itself is 1 foot 7.5 inches. But so 20 minus 1 foot 7.5 inches equals 18 4.5.
You know what, I'm gonna suggest that you read the variances if you think they're correct. You think your voice can handle these 5?
Oh, you're trusting my math skills though, too.
Well, no, I'm trying to dump it on you, so.
Very well done.
Should
I
I,
think the problem I have, and I really hate to be difficult, but if you've got, so it's 10, oh, it's 10 and a half inches. Okay, you're right, 18.45. I was doing 10 inches. You're right. That is it, 18.45, 18.
are you comfortable with the numbers, Joanne?
The numbers are correct, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, are you on number 2 or number 3?
Number 3 should be 18, instead of the 7 feet, 2 inches, should be
17.
should be 18 feet, 4.5 inches, where 20 feet total is permitted. That is for a 1 foot, 7.5 inch variance for the installation of the garage and residential addition. And then 215-16, the bulk, it goes to 95.4% coverage, where 10% max is permitted, for a total of 85.4% variance.
Okay,
And then,
and the first one is 3.48 inches. And then 12 feet, 8.5
yes.
variance.
And then number 5, it decreases the square footage to,
To 740, 529 and 749.
yes.
Okay.
All right, so can we have a roll call?
We have to
Grant,
read this, don't we? Or
Come
is
again?
Is that good enough for, do we have to read this out loud then?
I would suggest rereading this.
All of,
I would suggest rereading to make sure we're clear, it's a clear record on the variances that are in
All
front
right,
of
I
you
wanna
and that you're
just-
voting on.
I just want to have,
That the applicant is able to walk away with something very clear for himself as he goes and builds his project.
7.2.
2 feet off the line, simple.
2 feet, thank you.
Thirty-seven feet, 4.8.
Give me a handwritten version. I could read it to the record as well.
No, that's all right. I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. The whole feet to inches thing on the first one that just got me all wonky, but, okay. We're gonna go for it. 215-16, to allow the front yard setback of 37.29 feet, where 50 feet is required. So that's a variance of 12.71 feet, or 12 feet, 8.5 inches for the installation of a residential addition. 215-33E, side yard setback in Whaley Lake, to allow side yard setback north of 24 inches where 8 feet is required, 6 foot for the installation of garage addition.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, I think the first line, 37.29, we translated that,
The 3.48,
3.48.
but we rounded it to 3.5 and
Yeah.
8.5.
Okay, well, I was getting a little wonky on that one. I have lots of notes and I wasn't quite sure, so.
Okay, yeah, so we did the,
Okay, so 37 feet, 3.5 inches.
correct.
Okay. And then the required is 12 foot, 8.5 inches. Okay.
Okay, yep.
We're
Wanna
good?
make, you know,
Yeah,
since
no,
we're trying to get it
this
right.
is, after this, we're making a motion, no more half inches. Because who's counting that much? 215-33E, side yard setback, to allow the total side yard setback to be 18 feet, 4.5 inches, where 20 foot minimum total permitted. So 1 foot 7.5-inch variance for the installation of garage and residential addition. 215-16 bulk regulations in R1 zoning district to allow 95.4% lot coverage where 10% maximum permitted for 85.4%. Then 215-33D, non-conforming building to allow, hold on, this is where we changed it a little bit, hold on. Sorry, my nose is running, I'm falling apart over here. 529 plus 220 equals, okay. To allow a, okay, so the 833 doesn't change in that one, does it? That stays the same, and 830, okay, 833 square foot non-conforming building containing conforming uses to be enlarged and structurally altered by the construction of a 529 square foot garage and 220 square foot addition for a
We
total.
did change that.
Yeah, to a total of
No,
749
we
square
did
feet.
change it, and I think it's altered by the construction of a 529 square foot garage.
Yeah, but the first number doesn't change, the 833, the existing.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Do I need to read the rest, or are we good with that? Okay. All right, may I have a roll call to accept as read?
Terrence, Rainsley,
Yay.
John
Oh,
Harness.
she's-
Oh, we
Ma'am,
need a
may-
motion.
May I make,
Oh.
I made a motion before, but I'll make a
Right,
motion
second.
for what was read.
seconded by, I'll second.
Okay.
Terrence was good?
Already yayed.
John,
We're voting on the variance?
yeah,
All
all
of
variances.
All variances. I just want to state for the record that I'm troubled by even by the 2 feet, but the circumstances which I think are unique to this property, A, the improvement of the structure, B, the fact that the owner owns the adjoining property, and C, that there is access from the other side of the property, which is common to the community, creates an unusual situation that warrants my approval.
Okay. Allison Knox is excused. Helen Grasso,
Yay.
I'll just add a little bit, like John mentioned also, that the lot coverage is as high as it is because, not because of the size of the current house. It has a lot to do with the amount of blacktop with the driveways and such. It's not just the lot.
That's unique as well.
Exactly, that's,
based on pervious surfaces.
exactly. So, and I vote yes. Yay.
Okay.
So the precedent is related to the uniqueness of this.
Yes. You got your,
Run, Billy. Run.
yes.
Thank you, board. Have a lovely day.
All right, we were gonna discuss something else. What was
Oh,
it?
we just need minutes,
Oh, the minutes.
Helen proofread them.
Helen, your thoughts on the minutes? Everything's good?
Well, I edited them. I actually was not there at that meeting, so you guys have to give me a...
I haven't had a chance to really
I
review
did
them,
listen
so.
to the meeting, and I thought it was a good representation of what happened.
Okay. Do we want to approve, or do we want to wait till the next
Table the
meeting?
minutes?
You can approve minutes and vote on minutes if you have not been in a meeting.
Okay.
If you've reviewed them and you feel that they're.
All right, then I do approve.
Okay.
I approve.
I do also.
I trust Joanne and Helen.
Okay, who made the motion?
Helen?
Oh, make a motion, we approve the minutes. For, it was April, I'm sorry,
27.
Joanne.
27.
27?
And second?
Was it John who
A
seconded?
second?
Thank you. Okay.
And before I would like to make a motion to put it into our application and move forward, that there are no more half inches, that everything has to be to the inch. And that,
The applicant has to supply that, or?
I think it's gonna be right in the application, so before it ever even gets to us, it has to be in inches. And I think I talked briefly with Joanne before the meeting, that everything's going to be in inches, no more decimals.
Right.
Is
And
Except
it,
the
the
board had
percentages.
decided that quite a while ago. They wanted everything in feet and inches.
Okay.
also,
We can do that, no more half inches? Is that?
No, I think yeah, what,
because you think about it, when they're doing the site, as-built, they're not cutting it down to the,
yeah, I don't think, it wasn't the half inch, it was like the 5.32 feet, so that the 0.32, we have to figure out what the inches are.
I just think that's, I mean,
Yeah.
in life, it's just too small of a bit to criticize.
Well, I
it
think,
needs-
yeah, so it should be inches, put it that simply. And if there is some bizarre reason it should be half inches also, that person can make that case if it's critical to.
Yeah, but I would like to try and make it go forward blanket, that it's no more half
You tell
inches.
that to the applicant, then it goes in a.
Put it on the
Yeah.
right.
My brain is,
We had decided that a while ago. We were gonna put that on the application. But
Yeah, you should, I mean, I think there's two different things you're looking at there when you're saying that. There's one, the question of what is the, thank you, okay, I'm losing language right now. Right, yeah, so what's the standard measure? And then the other is, to what degree do you want to allow within the standard measure? Okay, like how many decimal points or how many fractions of an inch? Is, how
You're
far,
saying
those
one-
are different questions, but yeah.
so we're just gonna go full inches and full
okay,
feet.
and,
Okay.
lastly, or hopefully lastly, going through the process with the, resolution in front of us. I know it was a little hiccupy today, but I like John's idea of having it before us prior to the meeting, so we can review it. And are we comfortable with moving forward with that? Do we want to think on it, or, what's everybody's?
Well, I think
Consensus.
we did it last time. It was sort of a head-on collision. We got better this time. The only reason why it was more problematic this time is because we had modifications, so on and so forth. I think it may be too early to call,
Okay,
let's give it a couple more meetings and probably revisit it. I would think, and I think it's more verbose than it needs to be, but
verbose?
meaning,
Okay.
more language,
Yes, okay.
cumbersome than it needs to be. But, I mean, if it works for us, if we get comfortable with it, I think it's too early to tell, really.
Okay, and Joanne, you said doing it this way makes, your,
Easier, 'cause I just type everything in and then file it with the town clerk. I send it to the applicant. I don't have to do two separate documents like I used to.
okay, so it streamlines your
We wanna help
process.
Joanne.
Yeah, well, that's what we
No,
need to
really.
know, is-
No,
yeah.
really, all
Yeah,
jokes
so then if we know
aside.
it takes a lot off your plate and streamlines the process,
Well, I
that's
guess
great.
the only problem that I have is, and it's just pure, the fact that it's cumbersome and it's 9:30, and I don't think we've ever had a meeting this long.
I think.
No, we've never
That we're
had.
reading the variances at the start, and then we're reading the variances again in the resolution, and it just seems to me,
Well, I think
I mean, to be
tonight we had
candid,
to,
don't take this personally, it just seems to me a waste of time. Particularly, we're reading the same thing in twice. And, and the resolution is a matter of public record. I understand, that maybe we have to let the applicant know what we're voting on or whatever, but, you've got a record of what we're voting on. It seems kind of superfluous to be reading it out loud twice.
I think once we get used to this procedure, it won't be as rocky. I like Terrence's idea of, we'll try it for another meeting or two, and then we'll see how it goes. Speaking of that meeting or two, what's July, August looking like? Do we have anything coming down the pike?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet, okay.
We have a swimming pool, but I don't know if the people have the survey done in time
Okay.
And when are they due to give you the paperwork?
by the end of the month.
Another week? Okay.
Is there any other housekeeping bits that I'm forgetting? Terrence, we're good? Helen, we're good?
Yeah.
John, we're
Make a
good?
motion to.
All right, well, I can't wait to go home and hear about
Please.
my son's dance. He had his semi-formal this evening.
Any second on the term?
What is semi-formal mean?
It's his 8th grade, like, moving up dance and stuff,
Okay.
so.
Does that mean you wear jacket and tie, or?
Well, my little cowboy